Good morning, children. Now, after completing one unit from our English reader, we have to do one chapter of grammar, clauses and types of sentences, complex, compound, simple sentence. This is supposed to be a difficult chapter, but I hope that the way we will do it, you will not find the chapter very difficult. First of all, we need to know what actually a clause is. We have three words, three types of combination of words: sentence, clause and phrase. You need to know the difference of the three. Otherwise, it will be all cramming and you will not be able to do it properly. Before knowing what a clause is, let us come to sentence. You have been writing sentences. Sentence, simply we can say, is a logical group of words which makes complete sense as a sentence. And phrase does not make a complete sense. Phrase always gives incomplete sense. For example, a set of people on the table, in the classroom, like this. These are the phrases. Clause is something which falls in between phrase and sentence. Like a sentence, it can make complete sense also, and like a phrase, it can give incomplete sense also. If it gives incomplete sense and we feel that something is missing for the completion in the sense, we call it dependent clause because it depends on something for completing its sense. And if the clause is giving complete sense in itself, it does not need anything else to make its sense complete, we call it independent clause. Okay, that is, I think, is clear. Phrase always incomplete sense, sentence always complete sense, clause may be complete, may be incomplete. If it gives complete sense, we call it independent clause. If it gives incomplete sense, we call it dependent clause. But now the main thing is, one thing more I'll tell you and then we'll come to the point. Phrase does not have a finite verb. Phrase does not have a verb actually. And even if it has a verb, it will be non-finite, infinite. It cannot have a finite verb. Sentence always has a finite verb. Without one finite verb, we cannot frame a sentence. And same thing is true about clause also. A clause cannot be framed without one finite verb. Finite verb has to be there in a clause, otherwise it will become a phrase, not a clause. Now, what do we understand? Phrase, no finite verb. Sentence and clause, always finite verb is always there. Now the next question arises, what is finite verb and what is non-finite verb? For that, I want you to look at something which I have written here. See, I want to play. A very short sentence. How many verbs can you see here? I think your answer will be two, want and play. Right. Now what is the tense of this sentence? It is in present tense, simple present tense. Suppose I tell you to convert the sentence into past, you will say I wanted to play. So it means one verb has been changed and the second verb is same. Want has become wanted, but play is same. Now if I say you should change it into future tense, your answer will be I will want to play. So for this will want, this want has again changed, but play is same. One more change. Suppose I say change I to he and convert the sentence. Your answer in present tense, your answer will be he wants to play. So what did we notice by this? There were two verbs in this sentence. One verb keeps on changing as we bring any sort of change in tense or subject. But the second verb does not change, it remains same. So it means there must be something different in the functioning of both the verbs. Now, actually want is finite verb here, play is non-finite verb here. To play is non-finite verb here. How could we determine that want is finite? Because want belongs to a tense. So the simplest way to find out a finite verb in a sentence is to check its tense. If you have done the chapter of tenses, you know tenses. I hope you have understood and you know tenses. After looking at the verb, if you can determine the tense of the verb, this is finite verb. And if you can't determine the tense of the verb, it is non-finite verb. See this only. I want to say. We get to know that this is in simple present tense. What has told us about the tense? Want has told us about the tense, not to play. So if the verb indicates tense, it is finite. If verb does not indicate tense, it is non-finite. Okay. I hope you know the types of non-finite verbs also. Infinitive, to plus V1 or sometimes only V1. Gerund, V1 ing. V1 ing, if it is coming with SMR, was, were, has been, have been, obviously it will be related to tense and it is finite. But if it is coming without these helping verbs, it is non-finite. For example, if we say, I saw him sleeping. I saw him sleeping. There are two verbs again. Finite verb is saw because saw is indicating tense. Sleeping is not indicating tense here. So that third non-finite verb is participle. So that also you will get to know. Next, dependent, independent clauses. I have already told you that dependent clause is the clause which gives complete sense. Independent clause is the clause that gives incomplete sense. For this, sometimes there is an independent clause, but we feel that if it's not giving complete sense, perhaps it is dependent. So for this very simple rule, which is there for finding whether the clause is dependent or independent, that is, there are conjunctions. You know about conjunctions. We have two types of conjunctions, coordinating and subordinating. If a clause is starting with a subordinate conjunction, it is dependent. And if a clause is starting with a coordinating conjunction, this is independent. Some examples of coordinating, subordinating I am writing here, and otherwise I will send you a pic of these. Main coordinating conjunctions are and, but, so, therefore. Let us come to subordinating. Main subordinating conjunctions: though, although, if, unless, until. All question words when used as conjunction: who, what, when, why, where, how, that also, whether also. Okay. In coordinating we have as soon as, not only but also, These are main coordinating and main subordinating conjunctions. There are other conjunctions also that I will send. Here in subordinating we should also write because. So you can see these are coordinating conjunctions, main coordinating conjunctions. Either or, neither nor are also coming in this. And main subordinating conjunctions, this is the list of main subordinating conjunctions. And what should we remember after them? If a clause is starting with a subordinating conjunction, it is dependent, and if it is starting with a coordinating conjunction, it is independent. Okay, so this much you should remember and revise, and try to read first 1 or 2 pages from your book, from this chapter clauses from the book English practice book. Tomorrow we will continue. Thank you.